What's up, squad? This is Brandon from the Bantu Sun. Thank you so much for joining me today. So, what are reasons? So, politics is a very, very hairy situation. And we focus here on this channel more about understanding geopolitics, the way the world is from a physical point of view and the cultures it creates, and how the people of these cultures interact with each other. And we basically try to ascertain best practices which you can use on a macro and micro level. And one of those situations has to deal with, of course, the deep state. So the deep state, I really don't use this phrase a lot because I think it's a buzzword, but it is basically just the state. It's nothing deep about it to me. It's just the way the world works. Let's say, in fact, let me cite precedent. In the mid 90s, there was an incident. It's called the Sicerluk incident. It happened in a town of Sicerluk in Turkey. There was a car accident, and in this car accident, a few people passed away. And the people involved in this car accident, in one car was had links um, to the ultra nationalist party, the Grey Wolves. There was also a police officer. There was a beauty queen involved. Anyway, upon a further investigation of this car accident and the very interesting members of the car, members of people that were in the car, and the connection, it revealed this wide network of the deep state. Here you have people from nationalist party, intelligence agencies, police department, all these people which are supposed to be at odds with each other, here they go in connection with each other. Let's say that people are people and that they seek to further their ends. And it is no coincidence, really, that powerful and successful people will meet with other powerful and successful people to try to stay, improve, and maintain their power and success. I don't think this is by any attempt a stretch of the imagination. Now, whether you believe that or not, that's for you to ascertain. But if Elon Musk is surprisingly revealing what the government has been up to with your money through Doge, and they talk about and they peel back the bloating on the bloating of the bloating of the bloating of the money. I believe President Trump said there was Social Security accounted for a person over 300 years old. Now, some of these things are incompetence, but some of these things are coordinated. So it's very difficult to say where does the crime begin and the government end. And the reason why this is important because President Trump just designated 8 mafia type, cartel type organizations with a foreign terrorist label. Now, all of these 8 organizations operate within Latin America. And from me looking at a brief preliminary search, 6 out of 8 of those operated out of Mexico. And let's say, and this is not accusing anybody of anything, but let's say there was some credence to this. Let's say there was a connection between powerful and successful people, regardless of their path in life, getting together to try to work out a sustainable situation. With President Trump designating these groups as terrorist organizations, it gives him a lot of leeway from a fatal point of view to sort them out. So I even saw Elon Musk share this and said this makes these groups open to drone attacks. And I found that the reason why I want to talk about this is because not because I think it's anything interesting as far as the power struggle. Of course, the president is saying he's designated these groups. These groups have been rumored to have been dealing with everything from avocados to the human trafficking through illegal immigration to fentanyl trafficking to the United States. And That's what President Trump administration is trying to fight. He's like, I just want to go after these criminals and stop some of this crime. I thought the Mexican president, President Claudia Sheinbaum, I thought her response was worth communicating. I wanted you to know what she said. I'm reading straight from an article from Reuters where they talk about how President Trump made an asymmetrical decision. He decided himself unilaterally to make these organizations terror organizations. I've heard him drop hints saying he reached out to Mexico to try to work with them to try to take down some of these terrorist organizations. And he just decided, forget it, I'm going to do what I want to do anyway. And he made them terrorist organizations, which gives him the ability to carry out some harsh military actions. I mean, this foreign terrorist organization, this is what they use for Al Qaeda, right? This is what they use for ISIS. So I thought the response by the Mexican president was interesting. And I'm about to read it directly because every word. Now, I'm assuming she said this in Spanish, but they translated it for us. The quote is, the Mexican people, under no circumstance, accept interventions, intrusions, or any other action from abroad that are detrimental to the integrity, independence, or sovereignty of the nation. Violations, this is including violation of Mexican territory, whether by land, sea, or air. Does that sound like a quote of somebody that is grateful or want to go after these organizations? Or does that sound like a person who believe the threat to these organizations are a threat to the integrity of the very structure of the nation? I think that's what really struck me. Is, of course, there's people in the background. There's a lot of dealings. You're dealing with a lot of money at the top of the food chain when you're in government. And, of course, it's going to change hands. And that's not saying that everybody's involved and on the take. And, of course, that's not the case. But you have a situation where the president of Mexico offered partnership to try to take down some lethal, dangerous people. These are from the Sinaloa cartel, MS-13. Like, this is dangerous groups of people that Trump are designated, doing a lot of heinous things. She's not thanking the president. In actuality, she's saying he's using it as a precedent to take out military action on her country. Now, we could take that also at face value, because what we notice with a lot of crime is usually when they are attacking a group, right? I mean, the crime don't stop. It's just that the competition was removed. Pablo Escobar wasn't the only drug dealer in Colombia. He was just the one that got removed. So other cartels came in and filled that space. And that's another thing. Let's say Trump was successful with this pursuit. Who's going to fill that hole? The market is still going to exist. The capacity is still going to exist. The goods are still going to exist. The American customers, which are basically like absorbing this, which is driving this traffic, which is going through Latin America, are going to exist. So obviously somebody is sitting in the waiting for President Trump to do this complete apocalyptic removal of the competition. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was, maybe we misunderstood Trump when he said America first. Maybe we all thought he was talking about the United States. But when it talks about the Panama Canal, Greenland, Canada, making Governor Trudeau, and now to the point of setting up policies which allows for the unilateral attacking of Mexico, and to members associated with certain organizations, and who these members are. Where is the court? Is there going to be a court of law that says we know this person isn't? What if there's a person that's in Mexican government that they assume is associated with these groups. Does that allow Americans to bomb and kill uh, government officials in Mexico? This is really, really hairy stuff we're talking about here. And it's going to be interesting to see how it all works out. I don't have the answers, of course, but I just thought I would point this out as you see this power balance as Trump tries to realign the world. Because when he said America first, maybe he wasn't talking about the United States. Maybe he was really talking about America, North and South. A new age, a new era of how he sees the Western Hemisphere. Maybe that's what all this pulling out of these alliances, NATO defending your own borders, we got a big, beautiful ocean in between us, etc., etc. Gulf of America. I wonder where all that plays in to this. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I thought this was very shocking. This very bold and daring and blunt move by the president. Just his style. That is his style. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. You think I missed the mark, or you have any insight that you can provide a commentary? I'd love to hear it below. Like, share, subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Until next time, take care. Bad to up.